Okay, welcome to this IEP webinar. Today focusing on what the IEP is all about, what we're there to achieve, and also how you use the resources and the services available to make the best of your membership. Every single person in the Luton Partnership is a member of the IEP. That means that they can use letters MIEP after their name, and they get access to specific members areas of the website. And a number of those things we're going to go through today. Okay. I'm also going to give you a very brief history and a kind of roundabout what the IEP is about, and then hopefully a bit of information around what we think the future of learning is, and how we feel the development of the sector is going to go in terms of the skills within the sector. So I'm hoping it'll only take 35, 45 minutes, something like that. And we'll get through that depending on how many questions there are. I am recording the session. Please be aware that the only recording is of me and what I present to you. So there shouldn't be any problem from your point of view. Okay. So I'm going to go into a presentation first. I'm going to tell you about the IEP, then we're going to do the live demo on the website. So it's a bit interesting as we change between the two different things, but if you bear with me, it feels a bit more seamless, I think, at the other end than it does at this end. I'm very proud to be Executive Chairman of the IEP. I'm very proud to be working with the Luton Partnership. There's a great wealth of talent in Luton, and all we want to do is try and harness and expand on that and support people to be even better than they already are. Okay, so if I go into my presentation now. And here we go. Okay, so hopefully everyone should be able to see this, and even better if it's like that, and even better if it starts at the beginning. Sorry if I've made you dizzy. Okay, so yes, we're the IEP. By now, after 3 or 4 interventions with us, you should know a great deal about us. But if you don't, this will give you a bit of an insight into what we're here to achieve and why we're about. We've been around for 6 years or so now, still a relatively young professional institute in a sector that, if you think about, is relatively young. The private and commercial delivery elements of this sector have only been around for about 25 years, which is, you know, in the whole grand scheme of things, if you take manufacturing, engineering and medicine and all those things, it's a very, very short period of time. We're dedicated to support those that support others, to gain work, progressing work and retain work. That's you guys on the call today, on the video today, and everybody else that works within employability. And what we found over the last year or so, that means people working in employment support, obviously, but also people working in careers advice and guidance, housing, social care, healthcare and wellbeing, and a whole myriad of prison support, a whole myriad of different areas that are delivering services to people to expand their potential for independence around gaining work, building a career, and keeping that work once they get it. These are the kinds of organisations we work with. I've mentioned that before. You can see that we've got local community organisations there, specialist disability and health organisations. I know there are a few people on the call from that. Local authorities are there as well, and housing associations. And in the Luton Partnership, we're very pleased to have a number of these kinds of organisations, all different types, within the partnership. Groups of people that we work with, some of you will recognise some of these branded logos. Hopefully you recognise the Luton Council one, but you may have a business that you're part of on that list, and that's ever growing. I have a number of new partners brought to the table, some really interesting specialist occupational health organisations, an organisation that delivers digital training solutions, and you know, the list goes on. And we're also working around not only for permanent staff members, but also around volunteers, which is really exciting. So how do we go about the work that we do? Well, we want to empower individuals to believe that they can be the best they can be, and also for them to believe that what they do is a specialist standalone occupation, something that they can be really proud of, and something that they something that they can work very, very hard to. I'm sorry to Amnit who can't hear us, but yeah, if you follow the slides, Amnit, and then I'm recording, so if you listen to the recording back, you should be able to get the gist, but thank you for letting me know. Okay, we're there also to champion employability, and that's a really important factor, particularly with the public, the general public, and with government. Both in different kinds of measure have not over a number of years valued what we do. It strikes me as being very, very strange if we have such an impact on somebody's social and economic circumstances and their level of independence, that a social worker is seen as a professional occupation, whereas an employment support person is not. And that's something we are working really hard to change. And we think that the employability practitioner apprenticeship, which I'll talk about a little bit further on in the presentation, will go a long way towards securing that. We also think that as the industry has morphed into one that is smaller, working across many different sectors and also with many different partners, and more importantly than any of that, working with people who really, really, really require the support of our individuals, that it's likely that it will be recognised even more as a specialist occupation. And, you know, I really, really believe that the employability practitioners that are working out there, there's no one else that can do that. And I think government and the general public are now starting to realise that. We want employers to recognise what talent they have within their businesses. That's really important. And to wrap all of that together, we make sure we create a network. We've created a nice network in Luton. We would like it to be more active, and we're going to work very hard throughout the rest of the year to make it, to assist it to becoming more active. But that network is very, very important. And just for the record, on the 24th of October, we have a networking event in London, and we're very soon going to have another networking type activity in Luton. So watch this space, and as soon as those things come out, please book onto them and get organised about getting there. Okay. So a couple of years ago, we decided that, and I've already presented this, so I don't want to labour this. We decided what we thought the future advisor was going to be. And it's not necessarily the right route forward, but it is an interesting route that a lot of organisations are now not calling their employment or employability advisors. And that is definitely interesting how we're morphing towards a more practitioner terminology or service manager terminology, that kind of thing, which can only emulate the profession and assist people to understand what we're doing. The rest of this is a given. It's obvious. Highly skilled, customer focused, resourceful, integrated and trusted, leading systems, being the go-to person in that dynamic, in that stakeholder relationship, making sure that those connections and those partnerships are good, making sure that everybody is on the same page when it comes to delivery for a particular service user customer. And that's really important. That takes a hell of a talent. Gone are the days, and I know this has never been the case in kind of community-based delivery, but gone are the days where an advisor can sit in a chair behind a desk waiting for a customer to arrive, or probably back in the olden days, as it were, waiting for 20 customers to arrive. It doesn't happen anymore. Every single individual needs reaching out to. Every single individual needs more assistance than one individual can provide. Okay, so on to My IEP UK. If you haven't been on it, then how dare you? No, I'm only kidding. If you haven't been on it, it's really easy to use. And I'm going to show you today. If I can use it, then anyone can. Okay, and I'm still learning about all the different nuances, all the things you can do. So you can sign in for a member. If you don't have your login, please ask for it again, and we can get that through to you. But hopefully you've got it. It's stored in your computer profile, and it punches in automatically. You can manage all your profile and preferences. I'll show you how to do that today. You can print your certificates in your membership card, and you can look at blogs, sector news, and featured members. On there, we have a knowledge bank, which is the thing that most people go to really quickly. It's searchable. I'll show you how to do that. It's really good. They've got best practice stuff there. 10 Things Guide. I'll show you some of those. Stuff around induction. And it's there to contribute to an employer's existing training infrastructure. Also, as a member of the IEP, you get access to My CPD, so you can track your learning, which is really useful. Okay. You can take control of your own learning, and you can record that. You can get access to the learning on site, and you can hopefully improve your skills and knowledge, and we expect you will. And really interesting, we can offer bursaries for conferences for frontline member staff who simply would not have that opportunity to go to these things and get the time off if they weren't free. Excuse me a second. Okay, and then the induction packs are what they say on the tin. Lots of different modules around some legislative stuff like data protection. There's some interesting stuff around lone working, some interesting stuff around challenging extremism, caseload management, stuff like that. Some really, really good stuff. If I show you some of those induction CPD programs, you can see this is what they look like. And in a moment, I'll show you a live demo of what they look like on the site. And we've just changed the website. It was quite dated. We're 6 years old. The website was already 6 years out of date. It looks clean. It looks fresh. It's easy to navigate. The social links are really good. I'll show you how the whole social link aspect works in the background of the website. And we are just finally doing our updated knowledge bank layout. But you can imagine with hundreds of articles on there, that's quite a considerable piece of work. So that was always going to be the last thing that we finalise with it. Okay, so if it's okay with you, I'm going to show you the website. So this is how it looks here. Very interesting. You can see here, My CPD and My IEP are present. But if I come out of this and then share, bear with me a second. If I then share the sorry. If I then share the live website, you'll see because I'm not signed in, I don't have My IEP or My CPD. That's because they are for members only. They're a members only service, and it's really important that you have that as members. Okay. So just a really quick tour of the front page. It's like any other home page. You've got home. It tells you all about what IEP is about, how you gain membership once your membership is finished this year with Luton. Career progression, all the things you can do, includes the new employability practitioner standards and how we intend to endpoint assess that, assess the capability. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. How you gain access to Knowledge Bank. Okay, and under guides, you've got 10 things guides, partner resources, lots and lots of different stuff. Hopefully I don't make you too dizzy there. News and events, okay? And then as you go down, you can see we've got this bullet point idea about how to get actively involved. When we come to the Knowledge Bank, you'll see that that is still dated, still needs to be done, and it will be done in a similar format to this, which I'm really excited about. It'll be very much easier to find stuff. Okay, it tells you what the IEP, log in at this side, which is fantastic. Straight access to the Knowledge Bank if you want it, if you're already logged in. Latest news and tweets. And don't forget, as members of the IEP, to vote for your non-executive directors for the IEP board. Voting closes tomorrow at lunchtime. Please do not forget to do it. It's really, really important that you ascertain who runs the IEP for the next year. Okay, what latest news we've got? Lots and lots of stuff going on. Calendar events, you can see here, we've got the IEP website resources for Luton in there today. Okay. Also, don't forget, if you are able to, if you have family or friends, or you're able to get up to Manchester, we have our annual general meeting on the 11th of October, 4 o'clock till 7. There are drinks and nibbles at the end of it, but we have presentations around the industrial strategy and career progression from Joseph Rowntree Foundation, and a wonderful presentation around mentoring and support from the Prince's Trust. So it's an AGM unlike any other. It is once again about learning and networking and creating relationships. You can join the IEP there as an individual member. If your organisation is not a member of the IEP, it can join there. And if we have a strategic partnership, an organisation that we we work with, they can join there. And really importantly, as a member, you can do lots and lots of different stuff here. Okay? Get involved, I think, is the term. Let's make sure that we are a really active, dynamic sector. And the only way we do that is through partners and members like yourself. As you can see down at the bottom, we've got all these different partners scrolling across. That's part of our deal with the corporate affiliate partners. Okay. So on the IEP note, I'm going to sign in actually first. I think that's a really good idea. And it remembers my sign-in login credentials because I've asked it to, which is really useful because I wouldn't be able to remember them. Okay, so you know now I've signed in. I've got my CPD and my IEP, which were not there before. I'm going to come back to those though. If I start with the Employability Practitioner Standard, I've already said they are available there. You can read them at your leisure, and more training. And there's our mentoring scheme there for members, all of which in Luton will be able to access that this year. Under IEP Knowledge Bank, we have IEP Guides. I'm going to show you some examples of this. So I'm going to look at cystic fibrosis. Okay. And you can see it's not rocket science. They are not there to make you a specialist or support you to be a specialist. They are there to give you a basic level of understanding if you need to support a customer or you know of somebody who needs support. It tells you a little bit about the condition, about the challenges people face, and also 10 things that you need to be aware of when you're supporting people enter into work and get the support they need. Okay. The really important thing is they're not written by the IEP, they're written by specialists in their field. I'll show you another one. Let's go to dyslexia and dyspraxia. Okay. This was written by Genius Within. If you don't know Genius Within, they're an amazing organization who are specialists in neurodiversity. They tell me what dyslexia and dyspraxia are about, some great strengths and weaknesses of people, and what the statistics are, and then top 10 tips for employability professionals working in the sector. Simple things that you need to know when you're supporting people. This is one that I was heavily involved in that I'm really, really interested in. I'm interested in all of them, by the way, but this was really interesting. Young adult carers. A real significant challenge. There was something on the news last week about young people caring for family members or siblings in the home, and their life chances diminishing quite obviously and very sadly because they're doing this great support for their families. Personally, I don't think we should live in a society where young people, and this is young adult carers between 16 and 24, but in the news report there were people of 12 and 13 helping support parents and that, and it's just, you know, they're not able to have a child, and it's very, very sad, and we need to do better as a country and as a society in that. But anyway, I get off my soapbox now, but let's give you lots and lots of information about how to support somebody who is in that situation. Okay, and as you can see under the IEP Knowledge Bank and the guides, there are quite a lot of those. We're adding to those every day. If you think you are working in a specialist area and you have 10 things that you would like to state that will really make a difference to somebody who is engaging with somebody with a particular challenge, medical condition, health condition, or disability, then please let us know. We would be really pleased to publish it on here, and we're always trying to build this database, okay? Secondly, the induction pack, as you can see, has these elements in it. I'm going to click on the challenging extremism one, just to give you an idea. All the 10 things guides in the induction pack come with CPD points, which I'll show you in a moment. And you can see here, this is a facilitated pack, but you could do this on your own. All the way through, lots and lots of information, number of links, okay? Then a slide deck, okay? And that's your learning. Excuse me if that makes you dizzy. If you just need the slides, you would click here and you can download those, okay? And all of that once completed, you can do the test, as it were. I'm just trying to remember where the test is. I think you have to go through. Here we are. Here's the examination once you feel like you've done everything, and you begin there. I won't do this because I don't want to be singled out as not knowing what's here, but it's a very straightforward test based on the information that's been presented, and that will award you your CPD points for learning. As you can see, CPD points are important, but they're not that difficult to find and to gain. And if you've been on a webinar or you've been to a networking event or something like that, then you can claim CPD points for that. News and events is exactly what it says on the tin. And then my CPD, I will come back to after my IEP. Here you can download your membership certificate. Please do that with pride. You can see mine there. I'm a fellow of the IEP. I'm very proud to be a fellow of the IEP. I was actually the first qualified and applied for fellow in the IEP. Before that, when the IEP was being set up, there were a number of honorary fellows because of their standing, because of the work they did. They were awarded fellowship, but I was the first one to apply. I'd be recognised as a fellow of the IEP, something else I'm very, very proud of. What I didn't say, actually, when you're on any site, part of the site, if you click on the IEP logo, it will bring you back to the home page, which is marvellous. Okay, under there you can pay your membership, which is great. We like people who pay their subs, it's great. You can change your preferences, you can go into jobs board. I'll just show you that now. You can also go into the jobs board at the top here. Okay, yes, I agree, that's wonderful. As an employee, you can post jobs on there, you can manage your account and the people that you've seen all the way through, like any other job site. As a job seeker, you can create an account, you can put your resume, your CV up there, and you can put in date ranges and occupational ranges for job alerts. Really, really straightforward, okay? You go to post a job, it will give you some of the fees there. It gives you an opportunity. Luton Council is considered to be a corporate affiliate, so if you wanted to advertise a job on the jobs board, you could get the corporate affiliate discount fee, which is considerably, it's half the price of a 30-day job posting. The great thing about this jobs board is it's only stocked with, for want of a better term, people who are either working in the sector or interested in working in the sector, which makes a huge difference. Okay, now back on the IEP thing, it brings me back to the front page. Under my IEP as well, you can set your preferences. You can claim tax relief for your membership if you end up paying it. You can do lots and lots of different stuff, surveys on there and everything else, okay? So the next thing I want to show you is all the stuff that happens behind this. Oh, actually, apologies. I'll just go into the knowledge bank and you see the wealth of information and why we need to make this more accessible. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different things, okay? We're going to have these buttons that I showed you on the front, and there'll be about 7 of them, and they will take you through to what you need. But you can search for stuff. For people who are at the motivational interview, yeah, which our friend John from Peninsula TDC did a few weeks ago in Luton. So I can search for that. I'll just press return. You can click on the highlighted magnifying glass thingy. Okay, and you can see all the articles, all the stuff that's there on motivational interviewing, okay? And it gives you a relevance as well. So clearly the top one is the most important thing, and that takes you through to, I click on it, 10 Things Guide to Motivational Interviewing, which was what we produced as part of that Luton output. Okay, so that's really good. So that's the knowledge bank there. Now I want to show you what happens in the background around the social links, because that is really important. And before I move on to that, here's social media. You can engage with it on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube there. This video will be posted up to YouTube as well, which is really good. Okay. So I can go into my feed now, and this is the social link aspect. As you can see, Heather's put something up about voting now for members, really important. Okay, did some great webinar with working links the other day, or at least it felt good, you know. And you can add stuff here. So great webinar with Luton today. Thanks to all. Okay, and I can post that. I can post photos like I can on LinkedIn. I can post links to particular websites or forums or blogs or whatever. Okay, I can do all of that on there. And the really important thing here is I can do all of that on an app on my phone. So I'm going to try and get this close enough to the camera. and I'm going to try and find it. Here we are. There's an app called Social Link at the bottom. This one here. Click on that, it comes up. Okay. And if by magic, you will see great webinar with Luton today, thanks to all. Okay, so that means that I can activate and work with socially people on the move. Well, I'm making a cup of coffee or I'm doing something other than that and I'm not in my office. Really, really important. Use the same credentials to log into the Social Link app as you would do for the website. So once you're logged in, it will remember it and it will go straight through to the IEP section there. You can also search for learning on there as well, which is a really, really interesting thing. Okay, so that's Social Link. On my profile, I've just clicked on my profile. You can see what I'm doing socially. You can see my about stuff. Anything in red is not visible to anybody else. But I suggest that what you do is you keep your stuff up to date. We've got photos and we've got more. Okay, some photos that I put up, which is fantastic. Okay, I was at a conference just messing about and see if the photo upload worked really well. Okay, under here, I can go to accounts and settings. Okay, now on here, I can go to information and settings, and this is really, really important that you do this. I would suggest you tick all of them, but if you go through them and there's something, I'm not sure whether that's interesting to me, I mean, it should all be interesting, somebody joining a group that you're part of or stuff like that, then please click on and tick the bottom one, because if not, you will have none of that activity feed, none of that wall, none of that information going on. Okay. You can also in there set your notifications and stuff like that, and your social sign on and stuff like that. Okay. So I haven't connected these things yet, which now this seems like a new function. I will do that because it's really, really important that we spread the word as widely as possible. In payments and history, it will tell you what you've paid and when you paid it. Content and features will help you to publish things about you and your organization that may be of interest to other people. And professional development. And these are all the things that are done. And I'm sorry to say that mine are out of date still. I don't have an awful lot of time to update this. I should, and it's a terrible thing. But what it actually means is that I can't print my annual CPD certificate because I haven't earned enough annual CPD points. But I have, clearly I have, and I need to sit down and put those entries in. I can search for stuff. In journal entries, I can apply a particular filter to those search fields. I can add entries here to my CPD. And you can see here, it's really easy. Is it self-awarded credits or is it another? What is the credit type that you're putting in? You can see some of the standard ones are in there, and you can put another one in. What the description is, how many credits it is, when the credits will expire, and anything else that you need to put in there. Okay. Really straightforward, very easy to use. There's no reason why everybody here shouldn't be using the CPD tracking. Okay. If we go back to, here, you can search for connections here. You can only converse, you can only support, you can only help people who are connected with you. It gives you available connections as well, which is really interesting. So, I don't know, this employment coach at Shaw Trust might be interesting. Aidan, I'm sure he is. So I could connect, I can say something there, or I can just send, and I'm now just waiting for Aidan to come back to me and say whether or not he wants to be connected with me. Okay, I can view all available connections. There's quite a lot there, and I can go through all of those and work through. I can also manage groups. Now, the groups here are slightly out of date because they were populated from the old system. But there's no reason why you shouldn't build a group in Luton. There's no reason why you shouldn't build a group around a particular project or subject, okay? Really, really easy to do, and if you're struggling, we'll do it for you, okay? So, that's how Social Link works. If you think of LinkedIn, if you've ever used it, it's the same. It may not look quite the same, but it's the same. Okay. Back to my feed. It says I'm making progress. I'm not doing well enough yet, so I need to do a lot more, okay? And and then back to the website there. Okay. Now, on my CPD, the CPD program is here. We are going to be entering a lot more stuff around what you can do for CPD. Tells you what you can achieve, how you can go about doing it. Okay. Also here, our commitment to professional development. Okay. So there's all the stuff that you need to do. And here's how you gain access to it. Now, I think if I go to annual CPD certificate, it will not let me print it, I promise you, because I haven't got the credits enough. But it tells you so far, very simply, what the credit amounts are. So 30 points for a 10-year conference, 20 points for registering and attending an IEP networking event, 10 points for the induction pack, 10 points for the 10 things module. And it's very flexible, and we have to trust people to do this correctly. And we do check at the end of the year a proportion of those memberships that, we do randomly, and make sure that people are achieving it for things that are valid and viable, okay? Currently, you have to achieve 50 credits a year, 50 CPD points to remain a member of the IEP. I mean, we may well be upping that to 100, but it won't happen until probably the beginning of, middle of 2019, potentially towards the end of that, ready for 2020. Okay. So that's the website in a nutshell. That's how it works. And you can do all of those profile things on this bit here. Okay? And you can access all the stuff that you need. Okay. So, thank you very much for that. Back to the presentation now. I'm coming back here now. Hopefully we've got our presentation still. We have. Okay. So this is the final bit of the presentation now. You every single week should get Employability Professional every Monday morning at 10 o'clock. If you don't get it, you should tell us because it's a wealth of information about what's going on, things that happen in the sector, good news stories, access and activities. So far today, we've had very few bits of information about Luton. Who want to step that up? And this is what it used to look like. It's slightly more modernized now, but it gives you an idea about the kinds of stuff that we have in there, details around different kinds of people, what they're doing in the sector, and stuff around events and activities going on. Okay. And lastly, I said I would talk about the new apprenticeship standards. We've been working very hard for about 14, 15 months now to deliver an employability practitioner standard. Now we say that it's level 4, it is level 4, but we're not allowed to say what level it is, and we're also not allowed to talk about it as a qualification. It is a standard of capability and competence. Okay. It's ready, we think, to go live, and we're waiting at the moment with the Institute for Apprenticeships, and it's gone through their route panel. We expect that we'll be delivering, we will, the IEP will not, but organisation will be delivering the apprenticeship standard by this sort of middle to end of October. And the really great thing about it is that it is levy funded. So for those organisations that pay the levy, or for those organisations that can support others with their levy funding, it's a great opportunity to get some fantastic learning and emulate the sector up to everyone at level 4 at least, and further and beyond. Also, it gives us a route way into careers practitioners at level 6, and we're working really hard on those strategic relationships to make sure that employability practice is seen as the hub of learning across all the myriad of different sectors that we're working in. Just scooting through these because I think that these are not as important for you guys as this. So level 4's gone in, and the assessment plan's gone in. We are going to have at level 4 fail, pass and distinction. Everybody that starts in the apprenticeship will become a IEP as a member of the IEP. Everybody that completes and receives a grade pass at level 4, whether that takes 13 months or 24 months, will receive MIEP status, and everybody that achieves a distinction, as long as they fit all the other criteria for fellowship, will be invited to and supported to apply for the fellowship level within the IEP. We already have some endpoint assessment organisations and the IEP is going to be the EQAO, which is the External Quality Assurance Organisation, and we will be the standard bearer. We'll be the ones that making sure that the standard is A, delivered effectively and qualitatively, and B, is fit for purpose over the coming years. And in essence, that's it for me. I'm really hoping that you found that interesting. I'm really hoping that you have learnt something from that and are able to access the services and support from IEP more readily, more easily. Today I've talked about what the IEP is about, what it's there to achieve. I've also given you a whistle-stop demonstration of the IEP website. And I've also talked to you about what I think the learning for the future is going to be and how we are going to champion employability, get the public sector and government on board effectively to help support us in making sure that everyone understands that this is a standalone specialist occupation. Okay. It's been a real pleasure of mine to be delivering this today to colleagues in Luton. The Luton partnership is very important to us at the IEP, and we keep striving for more and more activity. Very soon this autumn, and in the early part of the new year, you will get the opportunity to attend a couple of small networking sessions, the potential for a webinar or two, and certainly the opportunity to do disability confident training, some learning around universal credit, and in the new year, the opportunity to attend the mental health first aid light training. So we're very excited about what can happen over the next few months. And all I can say to you is please keep connected, please keep in touch. Let me know what we need to do, how we need to do things better. As I say, this is incredibly important to us, and you know, having you guys as members is really important to us also. So I'm going to end the session now unless there's anybody who wants to state anything else. Thank you very much for all your comments and suggestions and activity today. And I welcome you to the next event that we do on behalf of the IEP.